Hi, thank you for having us today. We're here to provide solutions to the challenges at Forest Group and we're going to be looking at them through the lens of the five dysfunctions of a team. Our focus is on improving the team dynamics, leadership, and overall performance, and we're going to outline the challenges, offer targeted recommendations, and provide actionable steps to guide your team towards better collaboration and success. First, let's meet the team. Hi, I'm Laura Yoakum, and I'm going to be kicking off our presentation today. Joining me today are Ann Dikuma, Damian Rodriguez, Ryan Parenteau, and Hunter Okerlund, each of whom brings valuable expertise in leadership, team dynamics, and organizational development. Together, we've developed a solution tailored to your needs at the Forest Group. So first, I want to discuss the problem statement. The Forest Group is currently experiencing declining profitability and a lack of growth due to team struggles with alignment and ineffectiveness. Key issues include a lack of clear direction, poor communication, low trust, ineffective decision-making, and unclear accountability. These dysfunctions reduce overall productivity and prevent the team from meeting performance goals. So through the lens of the five dysfunctions of a team, Patrick Lencioni's framework highlights the five key obstacles that prevent teams from reaching their full potential. First, we're going to look at the absence of trust, where team members are hesitant to share their ideas or ask for help, which can lead to a siloed culture. Next, we're going to take a look at the fear of conflict, where there's a lack of healthy conflict mining that leads to tension in the workplace, and lack of commitment, where decisions are made without full team input that results in low buy-in. Next, the avoidance of accountability, where team members are unsure of individual roles and responsibilities, which can cause delays and errors in the team. And finally, inattention to results, which are caused by unclear goals and expectations. In the upcoming slides, we're going to dive into each of these dysfunctions and explain how they manifest in teams like yours, and why addressing them is essential for improving team performance and driving success.
Okay, Joe, as a leader and president, you need to create the conditions for trust that are currently missing. For example, you said that people are not opening up during their one-on-ones, and there's generational conflict on the team. So your first task, however, is to repair trust, because some of the absence of trust, unfortunately, originates with you. For example, Doug and Jill were passed over for promotion to president, which can be very disappointing and demotivating. So we recommend you have a conversation with each of them and acknowledge those emotions and provide your support and be authentic and vulnerable about your new role. You also need to respond to the suggestions you received from your 360 feedback and address those. And apologize for having avoided difficult conversations after people came to you with their problems concerning the team. Next, you need to build trust, which means building connections between the team members, but also build psychological safety so people can feel safe to share ideas, admit to mistakes, ask for help. These will all lead to the team working together better and avoid conflict. There are several tools that can help you with this, which we have put in a handout for you. We've also created professional development to help you learn and grow as a leader, which we will discuss later in the presentation.
Joe, trust allows for everyone on the team to engage in passionate and emotional debate without the fear of consequences or retaliation. This current team has no trust, which leads to the fear of and avoidance and conflict. This starts with you, Joe. There isn't a better person in this group to initiate the movement of embracing productive conflict. With your fear of conflict, you must get over that obstacle with William and Jill, as well as nurturing and inspiring Juan. You must first set rules of engagement and team norms for meetings and acknowledge conflict as productive. You must delegate a minor or be the minor yourself, someone who brings up sensitive issues and forces the team to debate through it. This is going to take confidence, courage, and commitment to follow through until they're resolved. Everyone feels you're wasting time in meetings and that they're boring. I want you to stay away from interpersonal politics and destructive topics that are not relevant to the mission at hand. And I want you to reward those publicly who speak up and praise them in front of the group for sharing. By doing this, you're going to indulge in this process, and everyone else will feel protected and feel better about speaking up. Now, talking about lack of commitment, I'm moving forward with Hunter.
Joe, you mentioned that you just want everyone to get along, but that's not quite how productive teams work. So our next step for you is to look for buy-in and not necessarily consensus. Your team is rarely going to agree on everything, but just by listening to them and getting their input will help them be more bought into the decisions you're making. Lencioni said, if your team members don't weigh in, they can't buy in. And that's really what helps your team make a strong commitment. The next thing is around incentives. So right now, your incentives are structured around the individual team members and their personal teams, which causes misalignment. Instead, we suggest that you try incentivizing with overall revenue growth of newly acquired agencies. And this approach will encourage Jill and William and the rest of the team to work towards the bigger picture rather than their individual apartment success. And then finally, for your team meetings, you need to focus on just 2 or 3 topics at most per meeting. And then once those meetings end, always ask if anyone has any questions and then recap the key deliverables for the next meeting. This will help you create a clear follow-up action plan and encourage members to hold each other accountable.
Joe, your team currently is not holding each other's accountable. Performance is suffering and deadlines are being missed. However, accountability doesn't just mean micromanaging. It's about creating a culture where everybody is responsible for their contributions. To achieve this, you need to implement peer-to-peer accountability where team members feel responsible for holding each other to high standards. Additionally, you need to define objectives really clearly and set specific expectations so that no one is left guessing what success looks like. This training plan can start with Jill and William, ensuring that they understand expectations and deadlines. You need to implement regular check ins that will reinforce these commitments. When accountability is built into the team's culture, success follows. I'm going to send it back to Damien.
It's actually coming to me. So the last dysfunction that we want to address is the inattention to results. The main example that we've seen in this is in your meetings where they don't really have any direction, which is causing them to run over long and not be very productive. So solutions for this that we're going to propose here is shifting focus to team goals, creating structure around those goals, and then celebrating when your team does meet those goals. And I'll dive into a little bit more in depth on the training plan here on the next slide. But the training plan that we think would be good for you to implement to get to these solutions is develop a thematic goal. And then once the thematic goal is developed, develop a scoreboard around it. And then the last one here is, and Hunter already kind of mentioned this, but establishing team rewards where everybody on the team agrees with what they would like to see as a reward. And once they get there, once they do the achievement, the whole team benefits. So on this slide, I'd like to walk through how the steps that we took to develop a thematic goal for the Forest Group and then the scoreboard around that. So the first step here is to survey your team for ideas. So for us, that looked like reviewing the video interview that you provided us and taking notes on where you talked about direction in the company. And then from those notes that we took, we threw out a rough draft for a thematic goal statement that we then bounced around our team until we found the concise words that we thought captured the goal that we wanted. So we landed on rebuild team cohesion and drive growth. And then from there, you start establishing metrics around what it takes to reach that goal. And that leads us into the scoreboard here. And the first 2 defining objectives on the far left column, those defining objectives go towards rebuilding team cohesion. And then the last one, that one goes towards driving growth. And then walking through this scoreboard and just how it works. We obviously have the overarching defining objectives, but then you have to have key activities that help you drive towards those objectives. That's what the key activities column there is. And then make sure that they're measurable. So you have to have a target when they need to be achieved by or how frequently these activities need to happen. And then you want to make sure that you're keeping track of how you're doing. So in the current status, the green means good, red means bad, and then yellow means you're doing okay. And just to make sure that these activities aren't left behind, we always want to have somebody that's driving the effort, and that's what the owner is in the last column on the right. So once you have something like this established, the next thing to do is basically restructure your entire company around this. And so in meetings, you're making sure you're talking about this, how you're doing, how you're progressing toward your goals and on your scoreboard. And then at the end of each meeting, make sure you're having action items for everybody in the company. Okay, so that kind of rounds out the dysfunctions and the solutions that we provided. But I did want to summarize some of the key takeaways that we want you to remember as you're taking away from this. So the first one here is build trust and improvement. And you do that by setting clearer communication channels and fostering trust. And the next one here is enhance commitment and accountability. You do that by setting clear expectations and holding each other accountable. And then the last one, focus on team goals and celebrate achievements. And you do that by creating thematic goals and creating structures around those goals to meet them. And we feel that the solutions that we provided are the best for the Forest Group because they address the root causes of the dysfunctions on your team. So after summarizing all those dysfunctions, we have a couple of specific topics that we wanted to dive in a little bit more in depth to. So I'll give it over to Damien.
Joe, improving team culture and dynamics is critical to having success moving forward. Currently, there is dysfunction between new and experienced employees, as you've shared many stories with us. Joe, this starts with you as you must open up. You show your vulnerability, your stories, your mistakes, how you overcame them. This will allow everyone else to feel more comfortable and confident in their leader and how they can share as well. I want you with your employees to take the You Are the Team online course. This is by Michael Rogers. This course will help your team members reflect on their personal accountability and contributions to the team and how they can improve and build a strong team. We suggest you discuss the 6 virtues together as a group to build team cohesion. I want you to utilize senior experienced employees such as Jillian Williams to lead mentorship groups, as well as trainings will allow for the group to grow into their new roles with the company. Use company retreats to their full potential. These are for building trust. These are vulnerable times when work is not the forefront of the exercise. I want you to have an open communication, promote this throughout the group, share a monthly calendar, allow them to feel as they can share where they're at during the month and what they have going on. And I want you to recognize and reward through programs that are attainable. I want you to publicly thank those who share critical information throughout the year. And I want you to make this a comfortable thing so others feel that they can follow up with that and continue following up with everybody throughout the year and do not give them any time to themselves as we move forward with Hunter once again.
So Joe, because your team is mostly remote and virtual, you're looking to potentially hire another remote employee. We have some suggestions around that. So one of your biggest challenges for remote or frequently traveling teams is maintaining cohesion and collaboration. Research shows that personal diversity, like age differences, can add even more complexity. So as a president, your role is to really create the right conditions for teamwork and having effective communication. So to create those conditions of strong trust, we have found that it's easier to do it in person, usually around twice a year. And we recommend having 2-day retreats where a team can connect personally and professionally and create a shared vision. And then it helps establish the guiding principles for collaboration. We suggest creating a clear communication charter to set clear norms so everyone's on the same page, and then establishing a team rhythm to create that predictability with team meetings, and then clarify and track commitment to create accountability, and then holding regular one-on-ones to keep members connected. So by focusing on these steps, you can really strengthen a team, whether in person or remote.
Thanks, Hunter. So basically, leaders are made, not born. So there's no magic wand but you, Joe. You just need to develop a growth mindset where you can learn from your mistakes and grow as a leader. So ongoing professional development will help you do that. And we have recommended the following approaches. So first, consider the 2 questions about leadership. 1, do you really care about leading? And 2, do you really care about the people you lead? And these questions come from the book, Do You Care to Lead? And Care to Lead leadership is a leadership philosophy built on caring for those you're serving, your employees, and that will result in loyal and productive teams, which is what you need. So we recommend you take a full day workshop on Care to Lead leadership with Michael Rogers, the expert on building effective teams. And in addition to that, you need to focus on having difficult conversations, time management, decision-making, and effective communication. And these were all areas of development resulting from your 360 review. You can find more information on all of this on your handout.
Awesome. So Joe, we've covered a lot today, and we just want to reemphasize that trust is your magic wand. That's really what's going to kick off the team and really help them start coming together. And you can do this, like Anne mentioned, by rebuilding that trust, performing those exercises, and then creating that psychological safety. We have provided a handout that we've mentioned with next steps that you can track your progress on, and we'll follow up within 2 weeks to see how your progress is going along with how the team is starting to fill. If you have any questions before that, feel more than welcome to reach out to us via email. Thanks for your time and thanks for reaching out.